Susan Rosenthal, you're here from representing the New York City Economic Development Corporation at BioFuture, which is here in New York. What excites you about the life sciences and healthcare industries in New York City?
Oh my gosh, Jeremy, it is just taking off, right? 10, 15 years ago, you could count the activity on your hand. Now we have hundreds of companies. We have over $3 billion of NIH investment happening every year now. And we have the city investing $1 billion to make sure that life sciences, we are a global leader in not only life sciences, but tech-forward life sciences. And that strength in tech that we're bringing to the table is a distinct advantage for New York.
At this forum, you moderated a panel just recently on AI and clinical trials. And what are you excited about in the world of AI? I know it's a buzzword. People are talking about it excitedly. Some people are talking about it and they're worried. How do you see this incredible platform of technology advancing clinical trials and drug discovery in general?
Well, you know, when you take a medicine, you don't actually know from some of the history of medicine whether that medicine is going to work for you. AI is going to help us identify medicines that are better suited to a patient. It's going to help us identify whether a medicine will target towards what that patient needs specifically. And that's really exciting because think about the impact that has on health, the impact that has on our community. And so I see it being very powerful, not only to identify those medicines, but also to help design biomarkers, to help identify targets in a much less risky way. And even, you know, today in the panel, they were talking about maybe in 10 years, 20 years, we may not need to do as many of the studies. We may just know it works much sooner, much faster.
Incredible. As we look to defining the future of health, we also have to define health. And I know you are with an organization that works in community levels, you work with academic institutions, biopharma. Are we realizing that the definition of health and the health of communities is really a bigger topic than just medical and clinical?
Yeah, I mean, we've come so far, right? Like even you can see how much mental health is in the conversation. You can see how much addition of technologies like wearables are helping patients become much more active, much more engaged in how their health is being managed and taking ownership over that with the different institutions and medical community. But we have so far to go. There's just so much we can do with what we have now, and so we need things like AI. We need things like the advances in technology to make it easier for those that are studying it and for the patients that are involved in it.
And I know you had a front row seat for everything that happened during, the crucible of COVID here in New York City.
Yes.
I think we've learned some lessons.
Yes.
And do you feel that the community, not just in New York, but maybe in other parts of the U.S. and the world, are a little more united, knowing that this could happen again, and we have to make sure it doesn't happen again? Has the healthcare community come together in a way?
You know, it's a yes and a no. I'll start with the no so that I can end on something more positive. I think we need to bring information to the institutions, to the medical community, to our patients much faster than we necessarily did in the beginning of COVID. And so that's where I think we really need to learn from that and improve what we did. But the yes of it, everyone jumped in, right? We brought together all the institutions across New York City to help understand what's happening with COVID, what's happening with the variants, what's happening in different communities. How do we alert those communities? How do we work with the churches, the community centers, the educational centers to get information to patients? And we learned so much doing that then that I'm optimistic in the future we'll be much better at it.
And do you think we can harness that collaborative spirit in everything we do in the world of health, both here and across the globe?
We're trying to make it happen, especially in New York. We work not only with the New York City institutions, but we collaborate. We speak to San Francisco, we speak to London, we speak to Israel. We're hoping to connect all of these organizations and the different actors within the community too, to make sure that we're learning from each other and sharing what we know.
That is an optimistic vision for the future of health, and I thank you for the time today.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Thanks.